Shadez was a COD speedrunner who seemed unstoppable, setting record after record on game after game. He dominated leaderboards and built a reputation as one of the best. But with every run came suspicion and accusations. For almost 3 years, nobody could prove anything. Shadez kept breaking records and the community could only watch in disbelief, until only a few months ago. This is the story of Shadez and how he went from a respected speedrunner to the most controversial player in COD Zombies history. Shadez made his zombie speedrunning debut during the Mob of the Dead era in early 2023. Up until this point, he had never done zombie speedruns, only high round and campaign, where he is already being suspected due to his crazy fast improvement and terrible audio quality in certain runs. Anyways, at the peak of Mob of the Dead speedrunning popularity, Shadez claimed a record of 18 minutes and 40 seconds. No one had seen him play Mob before this. He didn't stream his runs like everyone else, and he didn't talk to anyone in the community. He also claims to have only grinded the run for 5 days. And then, he rebeat his own record by 2 seconds a month later, then another 2 seconds, by 4 more seconds, by 3 seconds, by 2 seconds, and finally by another 2 seconds, all within the span of a few months. He was untouchable. After dominating Mob of the Dead, Shadez turned his attention to Tranzit, just as it was gaining popularity. In just 2 weeks, he destroyed Zoraptor's former world record by 45 seconds. Shadez only streamed Tranzit 7 times for a total of about 10 hours. He claims that he was grinding for weeks off stream though. His run was unbelievable, and not in a good way. He beat the fastest jetgun split in history by over 10 seconds, which is a split based purely on teleport RNG. But there's way more luck to his run. A perfectly timed nuke bailed him out and flipped his round, which saved him from having to manually kill the rest of his zombies. Then he immediately got a 1 in 7 teleport to the pylon first try. He got flawless zombie spawns at the pylon, and even got the 1 in 4 max ammo drop in only 6 kills. Then for the final step, he hit an RNG dice roll of 10.2% since he only had a single pre-placed teleport. Then came the most ridiculous thing about his run. Shadez had never completed the Tranzit Easter egg before his run. I'm not joking. 3 months after his run, Shadez messaged another player asking how to reset Easter egg progress. To reset the Easter egg progress, you have to either complete the max's side of the Easter egg or input this command in the console. Since his pylon wasn't glowing during his run, he never completed the max's side, and we can say with certainty that Shadez' first successful solo Easter egg run was a world record. Less than 3 weeks after Tranzit, Shadez set another world record. This time, the Call of the Dead Easter egg in Black Ops 1. Yet again, he'd only been playing the map for a few weeks and barely streamed any attempts. Less than a month later, he beat his own time by 6 seconds. He then got the Moon Easter egg world record 3 weeks later, which is another major record to get that fast. After Moon, he moved on to Die Rise in Black Ops 2. He got the Die Rise world record after just 2 weeks of running, then took a 6-month break. During his break, a runner by the name of Sable beat him with a time of 4 minutes and 54 seconds with a new strategy. But when Shadez returned, he took the record back with a time of 4:39. At first glance, it looked like a great comeback, but to experienced players, Shadez' Die Rise runs revealed that he wasn't a very knowledgeable player. He would always run around with the SVU, which has a slower movement speed than the Sliquifier, and when waiting for the elevator, he never stood on it to make it leave faster. He also skipped Mahjong tiles entirely, no matter how quick they would have been to check. This meant that he was guessing the directional code at the pylon every game. And worst of all, he didn't know a simple trick to get multiple guesses at the code in a single round. This meant that he was running attempts with a 1 in 24 chance of guessing correctly at the end of every run, while it was a 1 in 6 for everyone else. Shadez wasn't dominating Die Rise because of skill. He was clearly just incredibly lucky. The next map on his list was Buried, which he secured in January of 2024, but then shortly after, privated the video after he got his crazy time of 8 minutes and 15 seconds. This quickly became one of the most highly suspected runs of his career, and even Shadez admitted that a run of this pace, excluding my time loss, would occur maybe every 1,000 to 1,500 hours of runs. I got it in 120-ish. Just to be completely clear, I have no idea how he even got this number of hours. It's practically impossible to calculate exactly how lucky his game was because of how the game was coded, but just for fun, I simply multiplied the odds he claims to have gotten in his run for a 1 in 2.76 million games, which being generous at 45 seconds per reset would amount to a total of 34,500 hours. or almost 4 years straight of running. But the odds weren't even close to what Shadez estimated. I and others attempted to calculate the odds, and they're slightly skewed because the function the game uses to randomize events doesn't work properly, but it should be around a 1 in 757,000 games, just to get his RNG, or roughly 9,500 hours of resets. Even then, there's no proof of his 120 hours of grinding, because he barely streamed at all. It's also worth noting that in all the proof of resets he submitted, not only buried, the video starts in the middle of a session. You can tell here because the BOFA counter on the bottom right says 18 games since BOFA, which refers to getting both required weapons from the box, the paralyzer and the time bomb. Now rather than just saying numbers, I'll give a quick overview of the RNG in Shadez' run. First of all, he got the time bomb and the paralyzer in his first 2 box hits, which is somewhere under a 2% probability. Then he got Vulture Raid from the random perk bottle, which is random between 6 perks. He then got nearly the luckiest possible sign code, and also won the 50-50 Wisp going to Candy Shop, saving around 8 seconds. He managed to get fast round 2 spawns, and then got a lucky max ammo after going back in time, which he needed to replenish his time bomb. Now for the final step, he got almost the luckiest possible maze combination and guessed the switch's first try, which is 1 in 24 possible combinations. There are many players with over 5 times the hours Shadez claims to have played on Buried, and none of them have been able to replicate his RNG. Here's the thing though, his run is very beatable. Despite him getting generational RNG, Shadez lost over 10 seconds to small movement mistakes and unoptimized routing. A better player with similar luck could crush his time. Players including Jetlag, Kive, Excosis, Cruel, and Flow have all gotten games faster than his, until the final 1 in 24 guessing switches, but lost the dice roll. It's only a matter of time until his run's beaten. Anyways, after Buried, Shadez rebeat Mob of the Dead with a time of 18:16, just over a month after Frothy Milkshake's world record of 18:22. With Shadez still barely streaming at all, it was another controversial run in the community. Shadez then returned to Call of the Dead and set another very suspicious world record, a 4:19, crushing the former record of 4:31, and less than an hour before this game, he claims to have got a 4:28, but the proof of resets he submitted were concerning. Once again, the video starts on a paused game with the Wonderwaff in hand, cutting out all footage of his 4:28 and other resets leading up to that run. He also claims to have gotten a VR11 before that game on good pace, so that would be 3 VR11s on pace for world record in one day. VR11s are a 1 in 24 from the mystery box, not to mention the insane spawn RNG needed just to get there. After this Call of the Dead record, no one heard from Shadez for 6 months, until this year in January 2025, when he restarted running Modern Warfare 2 campaign. He got a pretty respectable time on Modern Warfare 2 and submitted it to speedrun.com. The mods accepted the run, but told him that he needed to stream his future runs since he was getting close to the world record, and his runs were all very suspicious. He agreed to stream, and on his very first stream, he beat the world record of 1 hour 21 minutes and 35 seconds with a time of 1 hour 21 minutes and 32 seconds. The odds of getting the world record in such little time was the final straw for the Modern Warfare 2 community, considering all the other circumstantial evidence from before this record. The mods on speedrun.com unanimously agreed to reject his run and ban him from the site for cheating. Here's a short thread of Shadez conversing with the moderator team. Despite getting banned on speedrun.com, ZWR has not banned him yet, because they wanted concrete evidence rather than just overwhelming circumstantial evidence. Less than 3 weeks after his Modern Warfare 2 run, he beat my Mob of the Dead record of 18:12 by 2 seconds, then beat it again, then beat it again. Even though he got his 18:06 on stream, his stream started mid-session as usual, and he got the record on basically his first run. This run is the last thing he posted on his channel to this date, and his final public appearance online, because shortly before his upload, a World at War player by the name of Susan Goosen posted a video titled, "World at War First Rooms on ZWR That Break the Rules." Susan Goosen shows and explains that all of Shadez' first room records aren't legitimate because he used a backspeed patch. A backspeed patch is a script that you can put into your game to fix backward speed because the player's backward speed is slowed on PC compared to console for some reason. This wasn't allowed for first streams because the community had voted for them to be banned at the time, despite it being allowed in other categories. Backspeed gives you a significant advantage in the first room because while you're shooting the horde with your pellet gun, you obviously need to walk backwards fast enough to avoid hits. When confronted with the situation, Shadez said that he must have accidentally used a timer patch that had a built-in backspeed patch. This is very plausible until finding out that he was told about this rule. Shadez had done co-op first rooms with a player named Mystic, and in those games, Mystic would make sure to manually set the backspeed back to the right values in-game, using the console to override the timer with the backspeed patch. Shadez hosted these co-ops, meaning that Shadez was the one that needed to manually set these values. This was Shadez' last response before going completely radio silent. This was finally proof of him cheating, and so he was banned on ZWR, as well as speedrun.com. Personally, this conclusion to the situation is hard to feel satisfied with, especially considering that a few weeks ago, backspeed patches were voted to be allowed for first rooms. But I do believe Shadez cheated many other of his speedruns, by either placing scripts into his game that improve odds of certain random events, like getting certain guns from the box, or achieving the same result by injecting scripts using a third-party software. He could have also modified his game memory with a command script or by using cheat engine. The methods he could have used to cheat his Easter egg speedruns are still being discussed to this day. The main issue is that there isn't an effective anti-cheat for Black Ops 2 because it's possible to modify your game in so many different ways. And if Shadez didn't cheat, he did almost the worst possible job of trying to prove his innocence. Despite being banned almost 5 months ago, his ban is still highly controversial to this day, and I'm curious to see if there are any future developments. Shadez having a Mob of the Dead run on YouTube faster than mine is impossible to ignore, whether it was cheated or not, and if you want to see me run that Easter egg, follow me on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching.